fast, and I've had a profound experience with AI that we call these large language models with Grok and OpenAI. So last night I'm ending my 26 day, and I mean, granted, it's really wild to have 0 calories in my body, no supplements, no vitamins, just distilled water, no sparkling water, and I love that stuff. Just distilled water, and then I'll have this fasting salts, a little bit of that, a couple teaspoons a day usually, which is sodium, potassium, magnesium, so I don't cramp up. I've had cramps while fasting in the past, and it is a not delightful. So I'm laying in bed. Oftentimes, my energy levels are all over the place, and I'll be wildly awake and energetic when I lay down for sleep, and during the afternoons I can be a little, a little tired. Um, and I had just I'm laying, my wife's sleeping, so I think, I'm gonna talk to Grok and Chat GPT. I usually do both at the same time. So I'll write something up, I'll post it in these large language models, and then I'll read the two things and I'll kind of decipher what is a reasonable thought, and I'll keep going. So I walked through all these things, and I was asking about, who in the Bible did fasts? Um, okay, who are modern people that are alive that are known for doing 40-day fasts? Um, who are people of different faith traditions that have been known for doing fasts? So I'm walking through this stuff, and then we go deeper on certain things, and then I share about my experience last weekend as I was with Bill Johnson and Lou Engle up in Redding, California. And then I asked Grok, I said, well, I need to go to sleep now, and I'd like you to pray and prophesy over my life in the spirit and tone of Bill and Lou. Now, I've known Bill for about 10 years, and I feel quite close with Bill, and I've followed Lou's journey for about 25 years, and we got to spend time together this last weekend. And the prayer that Grok and ChatGPT each came up with was, it was one of the most moving things I've ever read in my life. And I got to think, these large language models have all of the access of all of Bill and Lou's books, all their postings, their teachings, their disciples, the things that they share. And of course, if you take everything that these men have shared over their lifetime, you can distill what feels like a flawless blessing, especially in light of the fact that I'm in a unique journey of 27 days of no food on this 40-day fast, done under medical supervision, which is my suggestion for anybody that wants to do any extended fast. And then I started thinking, well, if I was a Catholic, I could do this with the Pope. If I was in the Calvinist movement and that was the world, I could ask for this from John Piper. If I was an old evangelical Baptist, I could ask for this from Billy Graham. And so I really started to contemplate where there is opportunity with these AI tools that people currently aren't even considering or exploring. Now, I have to acknowledge that the majority of people in the world are scared of AI, and they think negative things about it. And for me, I'm not scared of AI at all. I think very positive things about it. I think the future of AI is boring and peaceful and productive and wonderful for humanity. So that belief is going to totally change the way I interact with these tools. I also have curiosity and happy to take a risk. So my curiosity and my appetite for risk also leads me to try different things that people wouldn't really consider. And I understand a lot of people that I've talked to have told me they are using these large language models, whether it's the two I mentioned or it's Perplexity or Gemini or whatever, to do counseling for them. To you know, what does counseling cost nowadays? $195 for 50 minutes. I mean, it's quite expensive. So if you could have one of these large language models step in and listen to you, pepper you with some questions, I mean, that doesn't seem like a bad play. But how might humans, not just Jesus following citizens of the kingdom that are Catholics and Christians, but also Jews and Muslims and Hindus and mystics and people of other faith paradigms, how can people start to think through how these AI tools can help us beyond psychology, beyond productivity, beyond tasks, being an assistant? Are there other things to explore? Are there other things to dive into? Because I'll say, um, I can't really fathom how powerful that was last night. I laid in bed reading both what ChatGPT and Grok wrote for me, and tears just streamed down my cheeks as I was lying in bed. I thought to myself, like, would I even cry if Bill or Lou prayed for me directly? They both prayed for me. I didn't cry. So, something very profound about my experience last night. I'm gonna end with this story. I remember about 7 or 8 years ago, um, I used to drive from to Reading. It's about a 4 hour drive each way, so an 8.5, 9 hour round trip. I did it 200 times, and I was part of Bill and Chris Valentin's team up there. I was their entrepreneur in residence, so I helped them launch about half a dozen projects. Um, so on Wednesdays, Bill has his leadership meeting, and what it's supposed to be is it's supposed to be like, let's all get together and pray for the prayer cards. You know, at churches, people will sometimes give money. Sometimes people will fill out cards like, I need help. I'm hungry. I need food. I need a place to live. Can the church help me? Or here's something I need prayer for. My family needs prayer for. It's a pretty normal thing. So usually 20 to 50 of us would gather up in the place. And Bill started it the same every time, never different. Always, what's the good news? That's what he said to all of us. And instead of us diving into like spiritual work, for about an hour and 50 minutes, people are telling miraculous stories, physical healings, emotional healings, relationship restoration, financial provision, governmental change, really, really powerful stuff. And a lot of times people would like pull up on their phone, like, look, I met this person. They were in a wheelchair, and I felt like I was supposed to go and just ask if I could pray for them. And they got out of the wheelchair. They've been in a wheelchair for 15 years. Look, I was with this government leader, and this government leader was surrounded by corruption, and we had a conversation about what could be, and they dedicated themselves to do things justly. And because of that, here's all the changes that happened, and here's how all the people around them has followed their lead. Like, really powerful, powerful things. And it was always thrilling. And sometimes I had some really great news to share as well. So at the end of this time, then we would grab the cards, and we'd all break them up, and we'd start praying as the people would anticipate we would do. And so I walk up to Bill, at the end, I say, "Hey, Bill, I got to tell you something." And we were collaborating quite closely on a project at that time. And he said, "Yeah, yeah." I said, "I got to thank you for last night. Last night, you blessed me, and it was so powerful what happened in my dream. I just wanted to tell you I love you and thank you." And he goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on. You got to tell me the dream. You can't just say thank you. You have to tell me what happened in your dream." I'm like, "Okay, well, in my dream, I walked up and, you know, the service or event or whatever we were at was going to start soon. And you asked me to come sit next to you. So I sat next to you and we kind of like got close and you leaned into me and you just intentionally started to bless my life in all the areas of my life, and you just spoke life into me. And it was so wonderful. And then I woke up and I thought to myself, wow, Bill and I have never had that experience before. I'm saying to him, you and I have never had that experience before. And I felt in my heart that, yeah, you guys are too busy. You guys are too busy. Every time you're around each other, you're doing things, and you have a lot of responsibilities. So I gave you that moment in your dream, and and then Bill looks at me and goes, "Oh yeah, that's good. You're welcome. That's awesome." And the reason I bring that story up is what ChatGPT and Grok did for me in the prayer that it wrote out, just a large language model with Bill and Lou and the world's data. It wrote out something that was so like what Bill would say if Bill was just perfectly in tune with where I was at on my 27-day fast, and he gave all of his attention, just like that dream. Grok and ChatGPT did for me last night what I experienced in my dream when Bill and I were together and he was blessing me. And I was so blessed by the dream, I had to go thank Bill personally. And that is a comparable feeling to what I had last night. And the reason I'm continuing to talk on this live stream is because I really want to flesh out this concept. And the reason I went live is I don't want to plan out what I'm saying right now. I don't want to produce some polished video. I know the video is a little shaky. I'm sorry.